Hey everybody, welcome back to Swagelok Southeast Texas Talks. I'm one of your hosts, Buster Caballera. Again, this is a show all about general industry, innovation, engineering, services, tech tips, whatever you want to hear about, we're here to talk about it. As always, I've got my co-host here, Logan Boatwright. Logan, good to see you again, my man.
You too, Buster.
All right, so what we got on the show today?
Well, today we're going to be talking with one of our other technical advisors, Collin Castille. Collin primarily calls on, or his customer base is the original equipment manufacturers, or OEMs, as you've heard us refer to it on this show before. Specifically, we're going to talk a little bit about kitting, and we'll explain what that is and what all goes into it, and how that helps our customers achieve their goals. So, welcome to the show, Collin. Glad to have you here, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. This is definitely a career highlight for myself to be here on SSET Talks. Really excited to bring some information to the show and to the industry.
Awesome, man.
Thanks for being
here. Good. Well, before we get into the meat of it, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Some of your background, some of your highlights.
All right. Well, now I just hit 7 years here at Swagelok. Really enjoyed my time here. It's been a wonderful company to work for. Obviously a high quality product and a great group of people to be with here in Houston and throughout the world. Before that, I was in general industrial sales, calling on OEMs, primarily machine shops. Did that for about 5 to 6 years. Before that, I was a groundskeeper coming out of college. I did go to the great University of Texas A&M up in College Station.
Can I whoop?
Yes.
Before that, I went to a junior college in Temple, Texas. Originally, I'm from the Beaumont, Port Arthur area. I went to high school at Port Neches Groves. I was born and raised there until I graduated high school. So really loved being here in Houston since the early 2000s and really enjoyed calling on OEMs for the last 12, 13 years.
What did you sell before high quality tube fitting components?
So the general industrial supplies, mostly machine shops and so a lot of machining tools, all the consumables there. And before that, I think this is where you might be going, Buster. I used to sell golf course turf equipment. So for about 6 years, coming right out of college, I was a groundskeeper. And for a couple of years after that, being a groundskeeper, I stayed in the industry in the sales side of things with turf equipment, specifically for golf courses and sports fields, which was a lot of fun and really had a good time.
That does it. Well, so I'm guessing like tractors and things like that, and mowers and reels.
Yeah, precision mowers, high quality precision mowers, everything, take care of a golf course. On a golf course, they grow grass typically on the putting surface of about 0.125 inches.
Wow.
So sometimes even lower than that. So it's a high quality precision instrument or lawnmower, and then a lot of the fairways and the roughs, the fairways are anywhere from 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. So a lot of those pieces of equipment are a lot of detail put into place there. If you've ever been on a really nice golf course, then you can really appreciate the precision that goes into it. And just like with our products, those products are needed in high demand as well for high quality products as well.
Yeah. So, well, that's good to hear. I know who doesn't love a good mower or reel or wondering how they do those things. So now you said, you deal with a lot of OEMs or original equipment manufacturers. What is an OEM exactly in for our general area and what we do?
Sure. So OEM is anybody putting anything together. Typically, you have a couple of different types of OEMs. You might have somebody that might be more of repeatedly making the same thing over and over again, so that they're assembling an item. Or maybe maybe they're not just assembling an item. Maybe they're forging an item, and then from start to finish, they go all the way through the process of making an item. So anybody really making an item on a consistent basis of some sort, and then bringing it to market. Then you also have customizable, maybe OEMs, people that are making one-offs all the time. They're making something on a different occasion. So that might be more of a type of job shop or something along those lines. But OEM, is somebody making something, somebody putting something together and bringing it to market.
And for us, that would be something maybe like a skid, a pump skid,
Sure. Okay. Yeah. For us specifically, I mean, you have people that are making analytical equipment. You got people putting skids together. You have people that where they're going to be putting a bunch of different components onto a skid. That's pretty common for myself that I see. People, putting a bunch of different components onto a skid. Then they provide that skid to their customer, whether it's going offshore, going into the midstream, or going downstream, might be in a plant of some sort. And on that skid, they're going to have a handful of pieces of equipment that can do a number of different tasks for what it is that they're needing it to be in.
So these OEMs use our components and make something, and then in a lot of cases sell it to some of our other customers who
Correct. Very common
also,
problem.
in a lot of cases familiar with it. So that's pretty neat. We see the whole life cycle of the product there, and you go out into our facilities and see something that our other customers have made for our customers. So that's pretty neat.
It's a really good way of putting it. Obviously, if somebody puts something together, makes a product, they will supply it to the end user, and then they also might service it if needed as well. So then these OEMs that we call on also have service team for the backside of it. So that's another common area that we, as a Swagelok distributor, we both call on the people that are making the product as well as the service group within a company.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the explanation. One of the other things we wanted to talk about that we, said in the intro is kitting and how that helps affect your customers. Can you tell us, first of all, what is kitting, and just go into a little bit more detail on that?
Sure. So kitting, which is commonly used with OEMs, especially for customers that are building, making the same product on a consistent basis. So a kit is, let's say, a handful of components from us, and we deliver it all in one part number. We grab we have a BOM, a bill of materials, that ourselves and the customer will put together to create a kit. And then from there, we'll name the kit. We'll give the kit a part number. And let's say we got a kit that has 10 items in it. And of those 10 items, you might have some different quantities. But the company themselves, they're going to always purchase that kit for one of their assemblies. And every time they do that, what they're able to do is order that one part number, and that kit will come in with the components on a consistent basis. It's going to have the one part number. Let's say we call it kit ABC. And within that kit, you have your 10 items. Maybe you have a couple of valves. Maybe you have a handful of fittings. So you have it all there inside that kit.
So, Collin, I can see how that would make it really easy on, say, a buyer for the site, right? Instead of having a long list of materials, maybe from different manufacturers, they just have it in one part number. So that's one of the more, obvious ways that it helps out our customers. But how does that help out, like, the technicians, the people out in the field actually putting the stuff together?
Well, obviously, with the one part number, it does help the purchasing side. But what it really does for the technician is it gives him everything in one box, so to speak, or one area. So he's not having to go to, let's say, a window, shop window, in order, and he doesn't have to come up with a list of 10 items. So what it really does is, from an organizational standpoint, it helps the technician just as much as it helps the purchaser. It also helps let's say, the receiving department. It helps them quite a bit. And then the time that goes into it is really saved quite a bit. We've already ourselves have put all the components together into one area, one box, and provided it all as one part number. So the technician, it's just a big time saver for them, and it's all organized for them to where they know they're putting this assembly together. They get their kit, all the items are there, and if they know that how many items they're supposed to use, and so it's a good checkpoint list. It helps out in so many different ways, all the way from the purchasing part of it, like you say, Logan, all the way to the invoicing of it, all the way to the organization of it, right there at the point of use when the technician is actually assembling the items together.
And it sounds like this is also a way that, like you had mentioned, the technician going to a window trying to get all these parts. If that technician goes to the window, and let's say another tech is building this and they have to pull a few more parts, they don't have the chance of that technician going, I need this valve and this tube fitting. Oh, well, we actually don't have that. And then you're waiting for that part. Correct?
Yeah, that's a real common thing that we see a lot at OEMs. People running out of stock. Let's say, there's a one-off type project, or somebody might have grabbed something from the window and they misplaced it. So obviously, if a kit is ordered, then that assembly area, that technician is responsible for his components or his or her components. So it's really, it just streamlines everything from that standpoint. So the kit is just a really, really good solution for an assembly area. One of the other things I was going to mention about a kit that we see with OEMs that's so popular, and why that is that on larger skids that we've been talking about, tubing runs can differ. So having a kit is really, really beneficial for them as well, because these tubing runs might be 10, 15 feet in length. So it really is beneficial for them to understand that they have all the components and where the fittings are going to go necessarily. But the lengths of the tubing could be a little bit different from time to time. When you have a long run of 10 foot, there could be some variances there. So that's why the kit is so important, being used for the base of a product. So hope that makes sense. Sorry about that. I kind of went a little long-winded there.
Hey, that's what happens with this. With what we do and what we try and accomplish for our customers is, there's a lot of little aspects that can get overlooked. So with that, one of the ways that we convey how these kits help is, we tell stories. We like to tell stories of how we helped our customers, how we did things with these kits. Man, tell us a story. What's one that sticks out to you as how this maybe changed or really impacted a customer in a beneficial way with our kits?
Yeah, absolutely. So piggybacking on, the area that I've just described, there's a customer of ours that is a large skid manufacturer. They have a lot of 3/8 tubing lines in there. I mean, a bunch of 3/8 tubing lines. We're talking a couple hundred feet of tubing that they run all over this particular skid. They have a lot of vessels and a control panel at the front, and so there's quite a bit of tubing that's run throughout the skid, coming from the control panel, as well as exhaust, and as well as some relief lines. So what we provide to them is a kit that's about 30 items. And of the 30 items, we have multiple amounts of fittings. The kit itself is close to 100 pieces. It's just over 90 pieces in total. And we're able to provide this kit to them in one box, and it's one part number, and big time saver for the customer. And all the technicians, you know, they get their one kit, and these skids could be anywhere from 20 feet wide to 60, 70 feet long. Really, I consider that a pretty large skid.
I'll agree with you.
It's a fabrication facility, and so what it really helps out a whole bunch. You know, they get their one kit, and in that group of technicians, this is a kit, you know, where there's multiple people working on these skids at a time. But so it's just a great way of, you know, providing a solution to them to where for that particular skid. So that sets up the base of this particular product. Everything going, you want to call it the base, and then from there they might have some more fittings and some things along those lines that are kind of, it's a customizable skid, but the base of the skid is always made the same for the most part. And they have a bunch of 3/8 lines, like I've mentioned, and it really helps them get started on that skid, gets them 50-60% of the way before they become, you know, before the skid becomes a little bit more customizable. They have options that they offer their customers and things along those lines. But it's a really great starter. And after they use those 90 or plus items, then they have about another 30-40 items that they purchase usually for the skid. But just a great kit for them. And they've been utilizing that kit now for 4 years. And typically we'll see them purchase around anywhere from 5 to 10 kits at a time, which gives them several months worth of inventory. And we usually keep a couple kits in stock for them as well, so that if something does come up, then we can like, hey, we need to get another kit right away. So, okay, well, we have 1 or 2 of them for you right now, and they can get started on the assembly of another skid if something happens, if they get a hot order or something along those lines. So that's another area that really able to help them out.
So if we're starting from the beginning, purchasing doesn't have to worry about trying to source all the components they need. They can just buy one. The technician gets there. He doesn't have to worry about going to look for all the components in a warehouse. That's 2, and making sure they have it. When he goes to do his job, he knows he only needs to pick up the box, and he's going to have everything he needs to go, and he won't have any problems with that. He knows he's got everything to do his job successfully. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
That's big and especially for an OEM manufacturing nowadays.
It really is. Developing that kit with a customer, you know, obviously there's a give and take, or you know, there's a partnership there where we're working with the customer themselves to develop the product list together. But yeah, that's it. That is it, and it really does benefit a customer.
Oh.
Well, guys, I've heard this thrown around a lot, and I think both of you have been involved in this a little bit, but I know we do a lot of kitting with, we call them DTRs for several different of our customers. Can one of y'all, or maybe both of y'all, explain to me and everybody else exactly what those are?
They are the best thing since sliced bread, in my opinion. One of those. I know, Collin, you're working on some of these. I've been doing this with one of my customers, and these are differential thermal release that go on a valve. And when we talk about a valve, we're talking like a 12, 24, 36-inch, 600-pound class, 900-pound class valve. A lot of times found in the pipeline areas or process lines. Same with you, Collin?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of kits developed for that area. The one thing that's really interesting about the DTR kits is we will also provide pre-bent tubing for the types of kits. And so we definitely provide pre-bent tubing as well for other types of customers, and not just a DTR kit. But that's one of the really unique things about these types of kits, is that we'll provide components along with some pre-bent tubing runs, and you know, we might have some 90s in there, or, you know, some runs that are L-shaped, or there might be some really unique nuances to our customer that they need this tubing run. But the DTR kit has become very popular over the last several years, and it's a really successful area for both the customer and for our distributorship. The other thing that with these DTR kits that helps out a bunch for the customer is that they don't have any waste because of the pre-bent tubing, and they're not worried about the time as well that it might take to bend the tubing. So it's another just time saver for the customer, and really from a quality standpoint, it takes a lot of the guesswork out, takes a lot of the timing out, and everything really improves for the customer with these DTR kits.
And also with the DTR kits, some of them have hex nipples, they have valves, they have check valves, they have tube fittings, and they're done in sub kits. So you really have 3 kits in one, where you put this kit on first, you put this kit on second, and this kit on third. We actually help develop how you install these to get it done the safest, most efficient, and fastest. And for instance, if you have a check valve in there, and let's say you've got somebody working on it, this check valve is going to come already oriented in the correct position for some that we do. I know we put even a paper how this should look when it's installed, so he can install it, look at it, good to go. You don't have to worry about that check valve being put in backwards or a valve being put on the wrong side of something, so that whenever they do go to test it, boom, it works the first time. So, and with that, Collin, do you ever do sub-assemblies in kits for your customers? So maybe
yes.
Inside.
There's one customer that I have that they put together a system that has two different sections of it, if you will, like you're describing there, Buster. One is basically for the front side of the panel, and the other part of it's for the back side of the panel. So it helps the customer really understand this particular part of the section. All of these components should be in the front side of the panel and in the back, like I was saying. So yeah, it's a really good, great point there.
Yeah, that when you take it and you understand the process, I'm thinking of that old saying: if you ask me to cut down a tree in 6 hours, I'm going to spend the first 5 sharpening my axe. And for us, we're helping our customers put that time sharpening their axe, so that whenever they go to cut down their tree or install this, they are moving and grooving and not worrying about anything. And that's a reduction of stress on that side.
Yeah, definitely. It's becoming more and more popular. More and more companies are understanding that this is a really beneficial thing for them. Whether it's analytical manufacturers or midstream manufacturers, skid manufacturers, people making just all kinds of different things. It's becoming more and more popular, and a really big benefit to the customer.
Yeah.
No, that all sounds great. Collin, is there anything else you'd like to add? Any final thoughts before we let you off the hook here?
No, I think that's about it, guys. I think that we've really covered, the highlights of kits and things like that, and how it truly benefits a customer. But I really appreciate being on with you guys. Like I said, career highlight for me, and this is I've enjoyed it a whole bunch, and look to do it again in the future.
Yeah, man. We'll have to have you on here again soon.
I just thought of one thing that I want to touch on, that maybe, like you said, our customers or your customers will all work the same. If you have a customer, an OEM, and let's say they have relief valves in their kits, and they've got check valves, or they have ball valves, or anything where we also sell maintenance kits for that. We also have developed, I guess, a kit to also help maintain the maintenance kits for these also, right? So if a customer calls and says, hey, we bought this kit from you, but we need to change out some of the springs on the relief kits, we have those kits available for our customers, where they have that to their customers, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean that's definitely it's a like you're saying the maintenance kit. It's definitely a popular item that can be used to go along with the original kit. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Well, guys, I think we're reaching toward the end of our time here. So, uh, Logan.
Yeah, well, Colin, thanks again for coming on, man, and talking about some of the things we do for our OEMs. You know, Buster and I are primarily downstream plant guys, and so it's nice to have you on and talk about perspective, you know, from a different side of our customer base, which by the way is about half of the customers that we have are OEMs. So thanks for coming on, Colin. You know, we're able to discuss a lot of the benefits of kitting, you know, from making it easier on purchasing to the technicians to driving standardization and repeatability for our customers that build the same or very similar, you know, what we'll call them widgets that they sell to other customers of theirs. So it's really neat, and I want to make sure and mention that, you know, it doesn't have to be something that you're building a whole lot of. We do kitting for our plants, you know, when it comes to, say, seal flush systems or just things that you use a very similar set of parts for. So if you have any questions on kitting, as we've hopefully shown today, it can be a huge benefit to you, to your facility, and create a positive impact for your company. So please reach out if you have any questions on those things, and we will be here to answer your questions.
Guys, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on, and look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Thanks, Colin. And guys, if you want to reach out to us, you can find us at our website, sset.swagelok.com. You can find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, any of your podcasting platforms. We're hopefully going to be on Amazon podcasting soon, but we are on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. We are all around. Reach out to us, and if you want to develop your own kit, we'll get Colin out there to help you out. He's got a lot of experience, and he'll be able to get you moving faster than you can. So, as always, please like, subscribe, and share. Have a topic for the show, let us know. Guys, have a great week. Enjoy it.